We've had a long history of air service in Columbia going back, and the last 10 or 15 years have been difficult. We had a few years where we only had turboprop service to St. Louis, Kansas City, and then in fact in 2008 we had 2 months of no commercial air service at all. So we decided that we needed to really become aggressive to ensure that we do have air service in Columbia. There are those who believe that the smallest of the 450 airports will have no air service by the year 2020, and we do not want that to be Columbia. Our goal is to have 40% of the flyers in our area fly out of Columbia Regional Airport by the year 2020. We have almost 1,000 people a day who fly. It's a lot bigger number than most people would realize. So achieving the 40% by the year 2020, that requires 400 flyers a day out of Columbia Regional Airport. So that's a challenge that lies ahead of us.
Welcome, American Airlines Smile Cut!
Where we stand right now is we have a relationship with American Airlines. This is a relationship which takes us daily into the second busiest airport in the world, O'Hare, and the fourth busiest airport in the world, Dallas-Fort Worth.
In the month of March, we had the highest passenger load flying out of Columbia Regional Airport than we had in well over 20 years. We had 4,848 passengers flying out of the airport. Frontier load factors in the month of March was 100%. And American Airlines, they are running at 85%, which is excellent for a new service.
Our number one priority is, of course, making sure that our relationship with American Airlines is strong and continues to grow. A second major infrastructure issue is our runways.
We currently have two major projects underway at Columbia Regional Airport. The first project is Rehabilitating Taxiway Alpha. That is the main taxiway that connects with the terminal ramp. The pavement is about 45 years old and was in need of a major rehabilitation.
One of the issues we have in dealing with Allegiant Airlines, most of Allegiant's airplanes are MD-80s, big airplanes, but in the summertime when the air is thin, they can't land on our airport. That's one of the reasons that our plans over the next 5 years or so is to expand the main runway from 6,500 feet up to, I think it's around 7,400 feet. And it will simply accommodate a bigger variety of planes.
Our next project is installing a wildlife fence around the entire airport. This will keep deer and other wildlife out of the airport operations area. Both of these projects were funded through the FAA.
All funding for the runway side, what we call the field side of the airport, is funded 90% federal money and 10% local money. The airport is funded through transportation sales tax, and so any improvements that we make there take away from those other two areas, and so we are very mindful of that and make sure that they're prioritized correctly.
We have several additional projects on the books. However, we must complete our environmental assessment.
Anytime you do improvements to runways or even terminals, you have to make sure that you're not impacting the environment negatively. And so we currently have an ongoing environmental assessment that should be wrapping up in the next few months, so we can start in with the improvements to the runways and the terminal.
Once we complete the environmental assessments, this will allow us to purchase additional land, realign Rangeline Road, rebuild our crosswind taxiway and runway, and extend our current runway.
Normally the main runway is where most of the airplanes land. Once in a while you have the wind change directions, and so you have a crosswind going across the main runway, which we have a runway 1331 for the planes to land in the times where the wind is not favorable for them to land on the main runway.
Our current crosswind runway is weight limited to 12,000 pounds. It's only 4,400 feet long, and it's asphalt. The proposed new crosswind runway would be made of concrete, allow heavier traffic, and it would be about 1,200 feet longer.
What we have right now does not support commercial aircraft at all. So we have a rather aggressive plan to rebuild the runways. It's going to be $35 million or so. Most of it's federal money, but our runways are just not adequate at this point. The terminal is on top of that. We squeezed a lot of people through a 1969 terminal, and certainly as we increase the number of passengers that go through the airport, that will become even more important.
Recently, we upgraded our baggage claim area and our passenger holding area. We now have the ability to seat approximately 140 people. The main reason for increasing passenger seating is in the past we could only comfortably seat about 54 passengers. The trend is for commuter aircraft to get larger. They'll be a lot more efficient, and the new generation of aircraft will have about 75 seats.
Since 1969, it's not changed all that much, and regulations and those things have changed a lot. And so we're trying to update it to better fit the regulations that we are currently under.
Recently, Columbia Regional Airport upgraded its security category for a TSA airport. We were a Category 4 airport and upgraded to a Category 3. What that allows to happen is we can serve commercial aircraft over 60 seats. A lot of the security upgrades, most passengers won't notice, but it's a lot of behind-the-scenes security upgrades that ensure safe travel in and out of mid-Missouri.
And so the long-term plan is to get the commercial aviation separate from the general aviation, and so that's why we're looking at a terminal away from where it is today, because right now the terminal is in the middle of general aviation, which is hard to have security for the commercial passengers.
Well, the new terminal is becoming part of the Columbia Regional Airport master plan, and what we looked at was two different scenarios. One, repurposing the current building, which we found to be prohibitive in many ways, and then two was looking at a completely new terminal. And that has tended to be the direction that the Council and the Airport Advisory Board have moved us in. And so right now, we're authorized by Council to have some preliminary design options, and Parsons Brinkerhoff was chosen as the design consultant for this phase of the project. The important thing to realize now is that it's all conceptual. We are not committing to anything as far as terminal design at this point. The Council will certainly determine whether we move to more detailed designs, and of course there will be a lot of public input before a new terminal comes to any type of fruition.
We're on our way. We're off to a great start, but we have to keep pushing this. We need more flights into Chicago. We'd love to have a morning flight out of Columbia into Chicago and an evening flight back in. I think that over the next few years we need to position ourselves so we can serve 150 passengers to Chicago a day and 150 passengers to Dallas a day. And that's going to be probably 2 planes. I mean, it'll be 75-seat planes. So that's the direction we're going. And that's how I see the 40 and 2020 plan playing out.
Flight 3900, when you're ready, runway 20, climb on course, clear for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 20, Eagle Flight 3900, and we are ready.